What's up guys, Corvus95 here and welcome to another episode of my Pokemon Showdown team reviews. So in the past week, if you've been paying attention to the channel, then you'll know we've been doing Anything Goes battles, and we finished, spoiler for the last episode, 9-1 for the week. So it's our most successful week in the channel's history, and it was mainly because people don't seem to use ridiculous teams in Anything Goes. We, however, did use quite a ridiculous team. We had to switch out a Pokemon midway through the week as well, but I'll get onto that. So anyway, first things first, Mega Rayquaza. The Lumberry was a brilliant move, I think. Lots of people tried to either burn or paralyze me, and I would just smack them with an attack, and then I could finish them off with extreme speed if they survived. So I think the Lumberry was a great play, putting it on the Mega Rayquaza. The match we did lose was against another Mega Rayquaza, and it was because he had more power than me, basically. I couldn't one-shot him, he managed to one-shot me. So possibly running Life Orb may be a bit better for when you actually do run into the really good teams. But against all the normal teams people have been using, like they're still using good Pokemon. They're still using like top tier OU, low tier Ubers, and some random Pokemon thrown in there. But against those, Mega Rayquaza is almost unstoppable. Against like top tier Ubers, Mega Rayquaza is not as good, but still pretty good. I did think later on that we were struggling because of the lack of a Dragon type move, but we have other Pokemon that can cover that. So I think Mega Rayquaza did what it says on the tin. It's got the highest base stat total of all Pokemon, tied with Mega Mewtwo forms, and yeah, Mega Rayquaza definitely with that 180 base attack takes it to 459. That's ridiculous. It just hits so hard that basically, if it's not a defensive wall or resistant to the attack, it gets one shot the majority of the time. Or if it's an Uber, it usually still gets two shotted and will probably get one shot with Stealth Rocks. Fortunately, this team does have Stealth Rocks. I don't know if Giratina has Defog. It doesn't have Stealth Rocks, so we don't have Stealth Rocks on this team, which may have helped get kills against Ubers with Mega Rayquaza. So that's a possibility. Add Stealth Rocks to the team. They always do something. So if you were building a team similar to this and you wanted to use Mega Rayquaza, I'd suggest using a Stealth Rock user if you're going to come up against other Ubers. Anyway, onto our second Pokemon and our member that joined us midway through the week. He did have that on. That was his actual thing. I don't know if it's stuck because there's been quite a few problems with the Showdown servers in the past week, and so I don't know if when I went into battles he actually had the EV investment or not, because he wasn't hitting that hard, and that may explain why. But yeah, Terrakion did very little. The Pokemon he replaced, Mega Kangaskhan, did very little. I think Terrakion was only in 2 or 3 battles, and Kangaskhan was only in 1, I believe. So not got much to say. He did a decent job, but if he didn't have that investment, then I can see why he didn't do as well as I hoped he would. Anyway, on to the next Pokemon, who was probably the standout Pokemon. Primal Kyogre hit so hard with its 180 base special attack. 504 because I ran Modest Nature. It took me to 504 speed, and that just destroys everything on the special save. Like these two combined, Mega Rayquaza and Primal Kyogre, special and physical attackers, they're just unstoppable. They hit so hard. Like if you could run, I don't know, Life Orb or a Lumberry on Primal Kyogre, just run Lumberries on both of them so you can't be statist, and then just take everything out. Oh, that's what happened a lot. People tried to spoil Mega Rayquaza. They were really sorry when I just snapped out the sleep instantly because of the Lumberry. Anyway, Primal Kyogre, Scald, Thunder, Ice Beam, Calm Mind. Calm Mind you could replace with, I suppose, Ancient Power. You've got a Hidden Power you could run. You can run Origin Pulse over Scald, although the burn does help sometimes. You could run Signal Beam for Grass and Bug types. Grass, Psychic and Dark types. That may help. That may actually be a good play, run Signal Beam over Calm Mind. I'll have to try that out. You can obviously run Water Spout, but you've got to try and keep Kyogre Primal Kyogre at full health if you're going to run Water Spout, which means you kind of have to do more speed investment. And with that base 90 speed, it doesn't outspeed that much, because base 100 is kind of what you want to aim for in terms of speed. Especially, well, definitely in OU. I think it might be even higher than that in Ubers. But Primal Kyogre does a decent job despite being quite low on speed. You could run Thunder Wave instead of Calm Mind to paralyze things that do outspeed you. We're getting down to more hidden powers. You could run Sheer Cold since it's anything goes, and one-hit KO moves aren't banned. I did come up against a Mind Reader Articuno. It only got the Mind Reader off, so I don't know if I had Sheer Cold, but I assume it did, since I had Mind Reader. Yeah, so Primal Kyogre, very good Pokemon. I recommend it for all Ubers and all Anything Goes teams. Next up, we have Choice Scarf Xerneas. It didn't perform as well as Choice Scarf Yveltal did in Ubers, but it definitely performed. Max Special Attack, Max Speed. A lot of people didn't expect the Choice Scarf. I don't think a single person predicted it was Choice Scarfed, because they would stay in with Pokemon that could obviously kill it, but were weak to it, predicting that they would outspeed it, and then I'd destroy them. Very, very good Pokemon. I think it's just because I was using Mega Rayquaza and Primal Kyogre so much that Xerneas didn't shine as much as it could have. And move wise, you can always run a Hidden Power, obviously. You can run, where is it? You can run Geomancy if you're not running Choice Scarf. That's the more common set. I mean, it's got the same attack as its special attack, so if it could learn Play Rough, it would be brilliant on the physical side, but because it doesn't get any stab on the physical side, it's not as good. I mean, you can run Close Combat to take care of the Steel types if you are running. Even if you're not running, if you go, I just changed that to comment, if you run Mixed Xerneas with, instead of Focus Blast, you can go with Close Combat. That might work. You can go for Grass Knot, you could go for Mega Horn if you're running Mixed or Physical. You've got Outrage and Night Slash there. You can run Psychic. That might actually come in handy quite a lot for Poison types. Get rid of maybe the Thunderbolt, get some Psychic going, take out some Poison types, because it did struggle against Poison types. And yeah, Xerneas definitely could be worked upon, but I think it's a good Pokemon overall. Ho-Oh was beastly, did as good a job as Lugia did in Ubers. Although it's, because it has Regenerator and not Multi-Scale, it does take a lot more damage. Of course, you can switch it back in after it's taken that damage, and it'll be probably on the same health Lugia was from the multi-scale, protecting it from some of the damage, but it doesn't have the same staying factor that Lugia has. Because if you can keep Lugia at full health, then your opponent can basically never one-shot you. Whereas Ho-Oh can easily be one-shot with Rock-type moves. Overall, I think it worked quite well. You did kind of struggle when your opponent had Dragon type, because you have nothing to hit it with, but Ho-Oh in general doesn't have much to hit Dragon types with. I mean, it could run Hidden Power Ice or Hidden Power Fairy, Hidden Power Fairy's the thing, isn't it? Is Hidden Power Fairy not a thing? Can you not get Hidden Power type Fairy? Well, I guess you can run Hidden Power Ice or Hidden Power Dragon over Thunderbolt, I would suggest. You could even run Physical Ho-Oh. Of course, it has the higher physical attack than special attack. So you're going to be doing more damage, but I just needed another special attacker, I felt like, on my team. Then finally we have Giratina, who was probably the second least used Pokemon after Terrakion / Kangaskhan. Hex, Will-O-Wisp, Pain Split, Defog. Very helpful at times with Defog, getting rid of rocks on my side of the field, protecting Ho-Oh from the incoming damage. Will-O-Wisp Hex combo wasn't predicted very much by people. The one thing you do lack, because you only have Hex to do damage, apart from like the residual from Will-O-Wisp and Pain Split, is the fact that normal types completely wall you. So you gotta watch out for that. Got Rocky Helmet. That came in helpful. I think one of my opponents actually went down to Rocky Helmet because they used a multi-hit move on me, perhaps? I think there was a... no, it couldn't have been Chinchino. I'm not sure exactly what the scenario was, but someone definitely went down to the Rocky Helmet damage. So I'd suggest running perhaps... what would you get rid of? Well, if you're not worried about rocks on your team, get rid of Defog for another move that can hit normal types, perhaps Aura Sphere. But if you are worried about rocks, I would suggest that you either switch up the Will-O-Wisp Hex combo, which is quite nice because it's a base 130 type move if they're burned. But if you just want to keep this moveset but be able to hit normal types, I'd suggest getting rid of Pain Split. You do lose the recovery, but... and especially if Giratina is going to be your physical wall, as it was for me, which is why I want to keep Pain Split. You do lose the recovery, so you can do it, it works, but I would suggest going with this set and just have something else to take care of the normal types. So yeah, that's going to be the end of this review. If you've enjoyed, guys, leave a like on the video. I saw that we've reached 13 subscribers. Try and get me to 16 by the end of next week, if possible. And from me, Corvus95, if you've enjoyed, thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.